So, I heard you want to code.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 6 of our Roblox Studio scripting tutorials. Today I'm going to teach you very simple module scripts. So these can get pretty advanced, and you can do a lot of things with them. However, in this case, we're going to be using a module script in order to basically just print a message, and it will take an argument that tells the print message whether it's just info, whether it's a warning, or whether it's an error. And so this is what our module script is going to look like, but I'm going to just delete it for now, and we're going to start fresh. So I made a folder inside of my replicated storage, and it's called modules. So we're going to press plus on that, and then module script. And then we'll just delete everything inside, and I'm going to paste in my my standard formatting that I use through pretty much all of my scripts. So these are just comments. We've already covered those, so these don't affect the functionality of your script at all. And you can tell because it starts with 2 dashes, just like that. Now, to make a module, basically, you just want to write local, then whatever you want to call your module. So you could just call it module equals, and then a table, which is just 2 squiggly brackets, just like that, open and closed. But what I'm going to call it, since we're just printing a message, I'm going to call it print handler. And that is our module right here. But in order for other scripts to read and use this module, you have to do what's called a return, and you return the print handler, or whatever you called your module. So basically what this does is when a script runs require on this module script here, which I'm also going to rename to print handler, then you'll see that it returns whatever is in this table. So it gives another script access to whatever this module has inside of it. And in this case, we're going to make it so that this module has a function inside of it. And to do that, we'll just write function, then the name of your module that you wrote up here. So in my case, it's print handler. And then I'm going to write dot print message. And then in brackets, I'm going to have 3 different arguments. The first one is going to be the message type. So this will be whether it's an error, info, or a warning. And in order, like, you could just leave it like this, but I'm going to add a colon and then string, which means that when a script runs this function, then it has to be a string. A string has to be given in these brackets rather than anything else. And then we're going to write a prefix argument, and that will also be a string, just like that. So both of these have to be strings. And then we're going to have another argument, and that will be our message, which will also be a string. So now we've got a function that other scripts can use from outside of this module, and it has 3 different arguments. This being a text argument, this being a text argument, and this is a text argument. So basically, what that means is that if I were in another script and I wrote print handler dot print message, and then let's say info, the prefix will be print handler, And then we could write a message like, hello there, just like that. And it would read each of these as the first one would be our message type, the second one would be our prefix, and the third one would be our message. So that's how that works. Now, inside of this, we're going to use an if statement, which we covered in our last video. So we're going to say if message type equals info, then. And that means that this argument here was given info. But what if we gave it a message type of error? Then what we're going to want to do is else if. So it's saying, okay, message type doesn't equal info. Does it equal error? Like this. Does it equal error? And if it does, then we run code in here. If it was info, we would run code up here. And then we're going to write one more else if, and we're going to say else if message type equals warning then. So basically, this can only be three different things, which is info, error, or warning. If I give it anything else, then this code will not run. Anything inside of here, here, and here will not run because I gave the wrong message type. And now we're going to write a print, which we've learned about. This just sends a message to our console. And what we're going to write is our print handler. So I'm just going to put it in a square brackets like this. And then we are going to use string concatenation to then add our prefix. So we've got in square brackets print handler dot dot and then prefix, which is basically saying connect whatever this message, whatever the prefix we give it is, we want to connect that to this one, to this characters here, these characters. So whatever characters this is, we connect it to this. And then we're also going to write dot dot, and then we will just write, let's just do dot dot message. And so we have connected three different characters, three different sets of characters to one. And we're printing it to our console, basically saying, send a message to our console of all three of these messages together as one. Okay, so next we're going to say print handler. Oh, sorry. I'm actually going to change this. Instead of print handler, we're going to say info. And then in this one, I'm going to write error space and then dot dot prefix dot dot message. And that will then tell us whether the message given was an error or not. And you could write error here and it'll do the same thing, print to console, but it will write it in red to really show that it's an error. So we'll keep it like this. We'll put it as error, and it's the same thing as print basically, but just telling you in a visual sense that it's an error message. Now, we can also do a warning message by doing warn, just like that. And then in square brackets again, I'm going to write warn space and then dot dot prefix dot dot message. And now we have three different message types, one being info, the other being error, and the third being warn. So warn is, again, the same as print, but it's going to print the message in a yellow text to display that it is a warning message. And this error will print it in red. whereas print will just print it as some gray text. Okay, so this is pretty much all you need for a print handler module script. And now I'm going to show you how you can use it. So we've gone into another script, which I have in server script service, and I called it map changer because soon we will be working on a map change script that runs on a loop. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in my script formatting, and then I'm going to write local, and we're going to make a reference to our replicated storage. So _rs, you could write anything there. You could write rep storage, you could write storage, you could write replicated, you could write anything, but I do this, which is just an abbreviated form of replicated storage. And then I'm going to write game get service in quotations, replicated storage. And that gives us a reference to this right here. Now, we got to get to our modules folder. So we're going to make another reference, and we're going to call it modules folder equals _rs, wait for child, and then in quotations, modules. And that will give us this. Now, if we wanted to use our module script, as you can see, we haven't gotten to this yet. We've only gotten here. So in order to get a module script and use the functions inside of it, you have to do this thing called require. So we're going to say local print handler equals require, and then in brackets, modules folder, wait for child, print handler, just like that. And that is saying require whatever's in this module script that we have, whatever's in there, we want to require it and be able to use what's inside of the module script. So that's how you can get your module script from another script and use what's inside of it. So now, in order to actually use the function that we have in here, which is print message, we're going to do something like this. We're going to say, we're going to set a variable, local prefix, or we'll call it script prefix equals, then in quotations, you can just put whatever you want, but I'm going to put, since this is a map changer script, I'm going to say map changer, just like that. And then a space at the end, just to make it look clean when we print the message. So now, let's say we had like an intermission going on before the game starts. So if I wanted to display that in our output down here, then we can write print handler dot print message, and then it's going to ask for these three arguments up here. So the first one being, what is the message type? And the message type is just going to be info. And we are going to write our script prefix variable as the second one. And that will come into this space here. And then we have one more, which is our actual message. And for this, I'm going to say, since we're pretending that the intermission has started, so I'm going to write intermission has started. And then that is that. That'll print a message to your output when you play. So let's test that. We play, and it says info map changer intermission has started. So as you can see, your print handler is working. That's the module script being called via another script. And so now let's say we wanted to print some kind of warning message. Let's do print message. So print handler.print message, then we'll say warn. And that is one of our or we're going to say warning, sorry. Warning. And that is one of our valid options for the message type out of these three. And so then we're going to put our script prefix again, and our message will be, let's say there was experienced an issue during map loading. Just like that. And now let's see what it does once we've done that. As you can see in this orange/yellow text, it says, warn, map changer experienced an issue during map loading. Okay, so now we can see that our warning message works and our info message works. So let's do one more and use our error message. So print handler dot print message error, and then script prefix, and then we'll say an error has occurred during round time. We'll just say that. Or we'll say during the round. So now when we play, we'll have 3 different types of messages. And as you can see, when you print an error, it gives the line at which this error is happening. And that is useful for, let's say, you had an error, and then you can simply click on it, or right here, and it'll bring you to where that error occurred. And in our case, it's this line, because that's where we decided to print the error. So this is just a really simple way of making module scripts. They can get super advanced, and we will get to that later on in the series. But for now, this should help you with a basic understanding of module scripts. They're basically like a group of functions that you can use from outside of the module script. So basically, it's pretty useful for when you're doing things like object-oriented programming, which is a whole nother thing, which we'll get into soon. But it is also pretty useful just for things like this, just a simple function, or some other type of method that we want to call from outside of the module script. And any script could use it. We could make another script, say in our local script here, or in our starter player script, and we could do this same thing, and it would function the same way because it's using a module script. Now, if you have any questions, please be sure to leave them in the description. And shortly here, I'll do some more advanced module scripts. But for the next episode, we're gonna flesh out this this map changer script, and we're gonna show you how to make a simple map changer with a round intermission, a round time, so the amount of time the round will last, and then it'll reset the map and make a new one. So for now, I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Be sure to leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks, and peace out.